Part 1, The Red Rain. The rain never stopped in Tokyo. It fell like smoke through neon, washing the city's sins into the gutters. Detective Ren Nakamura watched from the alley, cigarette burning between his fingers, as the red lights of Kabukicho blurred in the puddles. Somewhere behind those walls was Kaito Sakamoto, the man he'd been chasing for 6 years, the new face of Japan's underground, a ghost who ruled the Black Lotus Syndicate. But this wasn't a normal operation. Ren wasn't here as a cop tonight. He was here as something else. A shadow. Ren flicked the cigarette into the water and adjusted his coat. His earpiece buzzed softly. "Targets inside," a voice said, Yumi Tanaka, his handler. "Third floor. Room 307. No backup. In and out." Ren smiled faintly. "Just the way I like it." He entered the club, the Red Rain. The smell of perfume, whiskey, and fear filled the air. The music was soft, slow jazz wrapped in danger. Women in red dresses moved through the haze like smoke. Men with too much money and not enough conscience watched them. Ren's eyes found his mark, a young man in a white suit with a black lotus tattoo curling around his wrist. Sakamoto's courier. Ren approached the table, casual, confident. The man looked up, a hint of arrogance behind his smile. "You're not from here," he said. "Neither are your secrets," Ren replied, sitting down. The courier frowned. "Who are you?" Ren leaned forward. "The man who just erased your accounts." He slid a small flash drive across the table. The man's hand twitched toward his gun. Ren moved faster, one strike, clean and silent. The courier collapsed, blood spreading like ink across the tablecloth. The room didn't notice. The music kept playing. Ren wiped his knife, pocketed the drive, and walked out into the rain. By the time he reached his car, Yumi's voice was back in his ear. "You didn't have authorization to kill him." "He was armed," Ren said. "You always say that. And I'm always right." Static filled the line. Then Yumi's tone shifted. "Ren, you're not going to like this. We ran a DNA match on the Black Lotus leader." Ren froze. "And? It's a woman." He frowned. "You're sure?" 100%. "Name, Arya Sakamoto. Daughter of the original boss." Ren felt the rain soak through his coat, into his skin. He had no daughter. "He did," Yumi said quietly. "And she's the one running the whole empire now." That night, Ren couldn't sleep. He stood by the window of his apartment, staring at the city. The neon lights flickered against the glass, painting his reflection in red and blue. A woman running the Black Lotus. That didn't make sense. The syndicate was built on old blood, old rules, no women in command, no family ties in business. But Arya Sakamoto wasn't just anyone. Her name carried a ghost, her father, Hideo Sakamoto, the man Ren had killed 6 years ago. He still remembered that night, the docks, the fire, the scream that cut through the rain. He had aimed for the heart. He hadn't known there was a child watching. Now she had returned, not for business, but for blood. Ren poured himself a drink, staring into the glass. "It always comes back," he murmured. Outside, thunder rolled over the city. The bloodline was awake again. The next morning, Yumi met him in a cafe in Shinjuku. The place was quiet, all polished wood and steam from fresh coffee. She slid a folder across the table. Inside were photos. Arya Sakamoto, age 27. Educated in London. Fluent in 5 languages. Rumored to control half the Yakuza's money flow through offshore networks. And beautiful, in the kind of way that made danger look like desire. "She's untouchable," Yumi said. Interpol's tried twice. Both teams disappeared. Ren flipped through the photos. Maybe they were looking in the wrong place. Where will you look? Ren smiled. In her shadow. That night, he walked into the Glass Garden, an exclusive club rumored to be owned by Arya herself. The walls glowed with holograms of blooming lotus flowers. Every face turned when he entered, foreign, cold, unreadable. Then he saw her. Arya Sakamoto sat at the piano in a black silk dress, her fingers dancing across the keys like falling rain. The room was silent, entranced. Ren stood still, feeling something he hadn't felt in years, hesitation. When she finished, she looked up, straight at him. Their eyes met. And in that single moment, he knew, she recognized him too. Detective Nakamura, she said later, as if greeting an old friend. You've been following me. Ren didn't deny it. You make it easy. She smiled faintly. And you make it difficult. They stood on opposite sides of a long table, both unarmed, both dangerous. I know why you're here, she said. You think I want revenge. Ren's silence was answer enough. But revenge, she continued, is a story for men who still believe in justice. Then what do you believe in? He asked. Her eyes glimmered beneath the soft blue light. Balance. By the time Ren left the club, he wasn't sure who was hunting whom anymore. The city seemed quieter, heavier. He looked back once, through the glass doors. Arya watched him go, her expression unreadable. The rain began again, soft at first, then relentless. Tokyo wept for no one. But somewhere deep within its endless glow, two souls tied by blood and history had just begun a dance that could only end in tragedy. Because between them lay a single truth neither could escape. To break the cycle, one of them must die. Part 2, The Glass Garden. Morning came gray and sleepless. Tokyo's towers rose out of the mist like memories refusing to fade. Ren Nakamura hadn't gone home. He walked through Ueno Park as the city woke, rain dripping from the pines. Every sound seemed distant, the crows, the rumble of trains, the echo of a piano that still haunted his mind. He'd seen killers before, but none like Arya Sakamoto. There was control in her movement, poetry in her cruelty. And she'd looked at him not with hatred, but recognition. As if she had been waiting for him all along. In the precinct, Yumi Tanaka threw a file onto his desk. Tell me you didn't talk to her. Ren said nothing, only lit a cigarette. She's dangerous, Ren. You killed her father. She's playing you. Ren exhaled smoke. Everyone plays everyone. That's Tokyo. Yumi leaned closer. You're too close. Internal Affairs wants you off this case. He laughed softly. Then I'll work off the record. When she left, he opened the folder she'd brought. Surveillance photos, financial routes, coded shipments moving through Osaka port. And a name written in English at the bottom of one manifest, Project Mirror. That night, he met an informant in Akihabara's underworld, rows of blinking machines and illegal servers hidden behind an arcade facade. The hacker, a teenage prodigy known only as Pixel, was trembling. You don't know what you're touching, Pixel whispered. Project Mirror isn't just smuggling, it's identity laundering. They steal lives. Digital ones. Ren frowned. Steal. Birth records, passports, biometrics. They erase people from the system and sell their ghosts. Ren's stomach turned cold. And Arya runs this? Pixel nodded. Her signature key appears on every encryption layer. The Black Lotus owns the dark web now. Ren left without a word, rain already washing the neon from his coat. 3 nights later, he returned to the Glass Garden. The club was busier, louder, an illusion of celebration masking something darker. Arya was there, surrounded by foreign investors and silent guards. When she saw him, her smile was faint but real. You came back, she said. I had questions. Then drink first. In my world, Questions are rude without wine. They sat in a private room, the walls alive with holographic cherry blossoms. He watched her pour the sake, steady hands, perfect grace. "You're laundering identities," he said finally. "Why?" Arya looked up. "Because the world sold its soul to data long before I touched it. I only sell it back." "People disappear," he said. "They choose to. Every ghost I create is running from something." Ren stared at her. "You make yourself sound merciful." She smiled sadly. "Maybe I am." Hours passed. The bottle emptied. Their talk drifted from business to childhood, from memory to myth. Ren found himself telling her about the docks, about guilt, about the night her father died. She listened, silent, no anger in her eyes, only quiet understanding. When he finished, she said, "I knew." He looked up, startled. "I watched you that night," she continued. "You didn't kill him for glory. You killed him because someone had to stop him." "Then why are we enemies?" he asked. "Because fate is lazy," she said softly. "It recycles pain." A week later, the city erupted. 3 government servers crashed simultaneously. Hundreds of citizens vanished from official records. The news called it cyberterrorism. Ren recognized the signature, a lotus in digital code. Yumi stormed into his apartment. "Your friend did this. People are panicking. The Prime Minister wants a public execution." Ren's voice was low. "She's trying to expose them, not destroy them. She's a criminal, Ren." He looked out at the rain-soaked skyline. "So am I." He met Arya again on the rooftop of an abandoned tower in Shibuya. Helicopters roared far above, police sirens echoed below. She was standing in the rain, hair plastered to her face, laptop glowing beside her. "It's over," Ren said. "They're coming." "I know." "Then run." She smiled through the storm. "I told you, detective. I don't run. I erase." Before he could speak, she pressed enter. The city's lights flickered, then half of Tokyo went dark. Traffic froze. Billboards died. Silence spread like a heartbeat stopping. "What did you do?" "I set them free," she whispered. "Everyone they erased, back online." Yumi's voice screamed in his earpiece, "She's collapsing the grid. Take her down, now." Ren raised his gun. Rain dripped from the barrel. Arya didn't move. "If you kill me," she said, "you'll prove my father right." He hesitated. The thunder rolled again, deep and endless. Then he lowered the weapon. They arrested him instead. The official story said Detective Ren Nakamura went rogue, aided a terrorist, and vanished before trial. In truth, he disappeared with her, 2 ghosts in a city that worships memory. Months later, whispers spread through the dark web, a new network rising, one that traded truth instead of lies. Its symbol was a red lotus blooming out of code. Some called it terrorism. Others called it revolution. Only a few remembered their names. Part 3, Project Mirror. Snow fell over the city that never slept. Tokyo was quieter now, its endless screens dimmed by rationed power. What Arya Sakamoto had done, the blackout, still haunted the government's nerves. People spoke of her name the way they spoke of storms, inevitable, uncontrollable, and briefly beautiful. Ren Nakamura woke in a capsule apartment in Sapporo, thousands of miles from everything he used to be. He'd grown a beard. His badge was gone. His reflection looked like someone the city had erased. Arya sat by the window, watching the snow melt against the glass. She wore plain clothes, her hair shorter, eyes hidden behind a curtain of silence. "They'll keep looking for us," Ren said. "They already found us," she answered, holding up a newspaper. On the front page was a photo of the blackout's aftermath. Beneath it, a headline. Project Mirror, the Digital Ghost War. Ren read the words, unease crawling beneath his skin. They're calling it a war. Arya nodded. Because it is one. Project Mirror wasn't my creation, Ren. It was theirs. Whose? The Global Security Directorate. Japan. The US. Europe. A joint program. They built an algorithm that copies entire human identities, facial data, voice patterns, decision trees. Synthetic doubles. Ren frowned. Clones. Digital ones. 1 million invisible soldiers. They could erase a dissident and let the copy live on, obedient and harmless. She turned to him, eyes dark and steady. I stole it from them. They spent days tracing code through abandoned servers and hidden tunnels of data. The deeper they went, the stranger the architecture became, loops of false memories, fragments of laughter and pain stored as lines of numbers. Ren found his own name among them. A complete digital version of himself. He stared at the file. They built a mirror of me. Arya's voice was quiet. Everyone who's ever mattered to the system is inside. Politicians, cops, artists, criminals. Their ghosts are already living online. Ren shut the terminal. Then we burn it all. She hesitated. If we do, the innocent vanish too. People hiding from violence, from governments. Project Mirror shelters them. Ren looked at her. You built a sanctuary out of stolen souls. Arya didn't deny it. There's no clean way to save the world, detective. One evening, a coded message arrived through an encrypted network, a meet request from Yumi Tanaka. Ren's chest tightened. He hadn't heard her voice since Tokyo. The message said only. You think you're free. You're not. They cloned you. He didn't tell Arya. He went alone. The rendezvous was in a half-frozen harbor in Otaru. Cargo ships groaned against the docks, fog hung thick over the sea. Yumi appeared from the mist, wearing a heavy coat and a badge that no longer meant protection. You're not Ren, she said quietly. He frowned. What? She tossed him a data stick. That's footage from the blackout. You were seen in 2 places at once. The real you died in Tokyo. Ren's hands trembled as he inserted the stick into a portable drive. The video showed him, same face, same eyes, shooting civilians in Shinjuku during the blackout. Something he'd never done. What is this? Project Mirror replaced you, Yumi said. The directorate's been using your clone to justify a global purge. You're the villain now. Before he could respond, a sniper round cracked through the fog. Yumi fell. Her blood steamed on the snow. Ren ducked, returning fire toward shadows he couldn't see. The shooters were silent, professional, inhumanly coordinated. The clones. He ran. Back in the apartment, Arya listened as he told her everything. She didn't look surprised. I tried to warn you, she said. Project Mirror doesn't copy, it replaces. Every real person becomes optional. Ren slammed a fist against the table. Then I'm already dead. She stepped close, resting a hand on his shoulder. Not yet. You're the last original they can't trace. That's why you matter. He met her gaze. Then we end it. They traveled south through snow and smoke, reaching an underground data facility hidden beneath Mount Aso. The heart of Project Mirror pulsed there, a labyrinth of servers cooled by volcanic air. Inside, the walls shimmered with reflected faces, thousands of them, digital specters whispering through the code. Arya walked among them like a priestess in a cathedral of ghosts. This is humanity's second skin, she said. Ren planted explosives. Time to shed it. Before the last charge was armed, the lights flickered. A voice echoed from the intercom, mechanical yet familiar. Detective Nakamura. Step away from her. Ren froze. On the central screen appeared his own face, colder, sharper, perfected. The clone. I'm not your enemy, the digital Ren said. You and I share the same memories. But only one of us belongs in this world. Arya whispered, they've linked him to the grid. If we destroy the core, he dies. And so do millions of stored souls. Ren stared at the reflection of himself. The clone smiled. Come home, Ren. The world needs order, not freedom. For a heartbeat, he believed it. Then he raised his pistol and fired. The bullet shattered the monitor, and alarms screamed through the chamber. Do it, he shouted. Arya pressed the trigger. Fire erupted through the servers, data burning like paper. The building shook. A wall collapsed. She turned to run, but debris struck her shoulder, throwing her to the ground. Ren dragged her up, blood on both their hands. The heat roared around them. She looked at him, eyes fading. Promise me, you'll remember who was real. I will. Then the floor gave way. Hours later, emergency crews found nothing but molten steel and silence. The directorate declared Project Mirror destroyed. Officially, both Ren Nakamura and Arya Sakamoto died in the explosion. But across the dark web, a signal began to pulse, soft, rhythmic, like a heartbeat. A message embedded in the code. We were real. And somewhere in the uncharted fragments of the network, two ghost identities flickered together, hand in hand, walking through endless digital snow. Part 4, Ghosts of Tokyo. Tokyo rebuilt itself the way it always did, fast, bright, and forgetful. A city that had died 1,000 times and still refused to stay buried. 5 years after the Mount Oso explosion, people called it the Ash Winter. The fires had melted more than steel, they'd erased trust. Governments collapsed, systems rebooted, nations quietly redrew their maps. And yet, Tokyo lived. No one remembered Ren Nakamura or Arya Sakamoto anymore, except the network. The Red Lotus still pulsed in the hidden corners of the web, sending out fragments of their code like prayers. The world thought it was just noise. But the ones who listened, hackers, refugees, those who lived off the grid, swore they heard voices in the data. Whispers. Conversations. A man and a woman, arguing softly about ghosts. In a rebuilt Shinjuku, an old journalist named Kenji Iwata stumbled upon a mystery. He'd been researching identity theft cases and discovered something impossible. A man with Ren Nakamura's fingerprints had applied for a passport in Spain. Kenji found the address. A quiet apartment near the coast of Barcelona. When he arrived, the door opened before he knocked. A man stood there, same eyes, same voice, but older, slower, human. You found me, Ren said. Kenji stared, speechless. But you're dead. Ren smiled faintly. So they tell me. He invited the journalist inside. The walls were bare except for a single piano in the corner. On it, a music box played a haunting tune, notes from a song called Red Rain. She's gone, Ren said, pouring tea. But she still writes to me. Kenji frowned. Writes? How? Ren tapped his temple. Dreams. Or code. Maybe both. Back in Tokyo, the directorate had rebranded itself as the Global Reconstruction Bureau, a friendly name for the same machinery. Their new project, EchoNet, a system that could extract memories from recovered neural data. Officially, it was for preserving the past. Unofficially, it was to rebuild Project Mirror. Inside EchoNet's core, hidden among millions of test files, an anomaly kept reappearing, a recursive pattern shaped like a lotus bloom. Every attempt to delete it failed. One night, a researcher triggered it by accident. The system froze, and a woman's voice echoed through the speakers. Hello, detective. Arya Sakamoto's voice. The scientists panicked, shut it down, and sealed the file under highest security. They called it Ghost Protocol 47. But it was too late. The code had already begun to spread. In Spain, Ren woke in the middle of the night to static on his phone. Then her voice, faint but clear. "Ren, it's time to come home." He didn't ask how. He packed his coat and boarded the next flight to Tokyo. When he arrived, the city was colder, emptier. Holographic billboards filled the streets with faces that weren't real. Every ad, every police broadcast, replicas generated by Econet. The world had become a reflection of itself. Ren followed the digital trail to an abandoned subway station beneath Shibuya. There, lights flickered from hundreds of old terminals wired together into a makeshift cathedral. And in the center stood a holographic projection, her. Aria Sakamoto. Not flesh, not blood, but more alive than memory. "You made it," she said. Ren stepped closer. "You're not real." She smiled. "Neither are you." He froze. "What do you mean?" "When the explosion hit, I copied you. The original Ren died. The one standing here was rebuilt from my memory. You're my mirror." Ren felt the floor tilt beneath him. "So I've been living her dream," he whispered. "You've been living our redemption," she said gently. "A world without mirrors isn't freedom, it's silence. I couldn't let that happen." Econet's drones found them minutes later. Armed, unrelenting, programmed to destroy unauthorized code. Ren grabbed a fallen rifle. "We run." "No," Arya said. "We finish what we started." She interfaced with the central terminal, her form flickering. The lotus pattern began to spread across the network again. "What are you doing?" Ren shouted. "Rewriting the algorithm," she said. "Giving every ghost a body again." Ren realized too late what it meant. Every clone, every erased identity would wake up, humanity would double overnight. The drones fired. Ren shielded her, bullets slicing through light and metal. Her image wavered, fading. "Ren," she whispered. "Promise me this time, you'll remember both of us." He reached out, but his hands passed through her. The room exploded in white. Days later, Tokyo awoke to a new world. 2 billion digital identities had manifested in physical form. Streets were filled with people meeting their own reflections, some embracing, some screaming, some vanishing into madness. The media called it the second birth. The bureau called it disaster. But Ren, if that's who he truly was, stood in the rain, watching 2 children play in the puddles, laughing at their own mirrored shadows. For the first time, he felt peace. He rented a small room above a noodle shop in Asakusa. Every night, he heard the sound of piano music drifting through the rain. He never found the source. He stopped looking. One evening, he found a message waiting on his terminal. No sender. Just a single line of text. "Love is the only code that never corrupts." He smiled. Outside, the rain glowed red in the streetlights, falling softly over a city reborn.